Hey guys, it's Fee, and I am here for a TTC update. A lot of little things that I just want to put out here and make sure that the journey was up to date. I am currently still on birth control. That is what they wanted me to be on going into this FET, or frozen embryo transfer. I needed to be on it for 3 weeks. Pretty much to make sure that there's no cysts going on and that I'm properly suppressed so that they can do their thing. And these are my pills. Check it out. I only have 4 left. 4 left. That's a big deal. You want to know why that's a big deal? Because I hate these damn things. I really do. I don't get too many side effects from all of the meds. Knock on wood. But the one thing that I get from birth control is cranky. It's like it builds up in my system, and by the time I get to the end of that pack, I feel like I am capable of being a full-blown serial killer. I want to kill people and kill things. It's ridiculous. It makes me so moody, and I can feel it. I can feel it, and I can't do anything about it. It's like a out-of-body experience, which is probably why it annoys me so much. I can feel it coming on, but I can't prevent it. So, September 20th is my last day of birth control. At that point, we will be waiting for the red plague. Those of you who've been following me know that that's my special name for Aunt Flo. Should only be a handful of days after that. You know, it depends on the person. It's never really taken me too long, so I'm not concerned about that. As soon as that happens, I call, and then the meat and potatoes of this cycle start up, and that's when things start moving quickly. I will start taking estrogen injections at that point to build my lining up, and once that looks good, then they will schedule the frozen embryo transfer. I'm kind of hoping for the first week of October. It may be second week of October, with whether my lining builds up quickly or how fast the red plague gets here. I don't know. I really am hoping for the first week of October. I have plans the second weekend of October. Not a big deal. I'm sure we could reschedule them, but it would be nice if everything just stayed in place. You know, the less stress, the better, no matter how little it may be. All right, so other than that, last week, Tuesday, I had an SIS, or a saline infusion sonogram. What that is it's a procedure that, for the most part, is kind of quick. It's done at your doctor's office most of the time, and they put saline solution and a couple of other entities, liquid entities, up into your uterus, and they perform a ultrasound. It lets them see things better, and essentially they want to make sure that there's no polyps, there's no growths, there's no remnants from past issues, anything like that. They want to make sure that there's nothing there that can inhibit implantation of the frozen embryo transfer. So, Fee passed that one with flying colors. I got a test that I passed. That's awesome sauce. So, nothing really to report on that one. I did get asked a couple of times what the difference between that one and an HSG is, which is the, I can't even pronounce it. I'll put it down here. It's another acronym. I had the HSG earlier this year. I want to say January. That one isn't done in the office. It actually has to be scheduled in like a surgical type room. And instead of saline solution going up there, they're putting iodine up there, and it's going in more than just your uterus. It's going into your tubes and falling out the ends to make sure your tubes are clear. So it's kind of similar, but not really. It also is a quick procedure, but what they're looking for is 2 entirely different things. With the HSG, they're looking to make sure your tubes are clear. Sometimes they're looking to make sure your uterus is formed properly, you don't have a septum or anything like that. But because that one, the liquid or the iodine, is kind of being pushed up into your tubes and whatnot, For the average person, it's quite painful. It's quite painful. I know some people that didn't have a problem with it. I am not one of them. That was not pleasant. Let me tell you, that was not pleasant. It took everything I had in me not to scream. I don't ever want to go through another HSG if I don't have to. Now, the SIS, on the other hand, there was some cramping, but really it was a cakewalk. It really was not a big deal. They're just putting it into your uterus. They're not pushing it up into anywhere else. And they're just making sure that you don't have any remnants or polyps or anything like that. So that's really the main difference. What they're putting up in there, where it's going, and how painful it is. So the SIS, I'll do 10 of those in a row. Not a big deal. There was cramping, kind of waves of cramping, maybe a little bit worse than your average cramping for me, but really not a big deal. And it just about instantaneously went away when they were done. So that's that. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot to report other than the fact that I'm currently trying to get all of my meds together. I was kind of quasi-arguing with my mail-order pharmacy because this was a smaller order for an FET. I don't need all of the entities to help you grow the eggs. I just need everything else that comes along with this, like the progesterone, the estrogen, 2 types of both, actually, 2 types of each. The needles, the apocalypse container to put it all in, all of that kind of stuff. And I had an issue with getting the box. Thankfully, it was ordered well in advance because they ran out of the estrogen that you inject, which is actually the first thing that I need once the meat and potatoes of this start up. So they delayed my box for that. Then they called me and said they're going to send me one because they have one in stock and they'll overnight me the other one that I need as soon as they get it. Then they delayed it again because my insurance was being goofy. Part of this box was also an order of dioxycycline, which is an antibiotic. And my doctor wants me to take it after the transfer. And that's the way it's been every time with fresh transfers or frozen transfers. Well, the problem is you also have to take that after you have that SIS test that I had last week. For the same concept, they want to make sure you don't get an infection because they were up in there fooling around, so to speak. Plus, I do have a sensitivity to iodine. When I had the HSG with all the iodine in me, I was loaded with progesterone, so that I would be able to make it through that without an allergic reaction. Progesterone and a whole bunch of other things, actually. For the SIS, we didn't do that. I didn't really realize I would need to. There's no iodine involved, but there is something else that they put up there with the saline that doesn't work for you if you have a sensitivity to iodine or shellfish. I have a sensitivity to iodine and just shrimp, which is very, very rare. Normally, you can't do any of the shellfish. I just can't do shrimp. So they don't like chancing anything with me. And they didn't put this one entity up there with the saline solution. So instead of having this dioxycycline antibiotic for 3 days after the SIS, he wanted me to do it for 5, which I have since completed. But that messed up my insurance, not wanting to refill it for the purposes of taking it after the transfer, which again slowed down my med box. So I was constantly getting calls. It is finally here. It actually showed up today. A box bigger than my head. Not too bad. Actually, the original box from the Fresh Cycle was like 4 times the size of this one. It was ridiculous. I am still missing 1 vial of the injectable estrogen, but that should be here soon, I think in the next couple of days. Other than that, the other thing that's actually really exciting, I don't normally put like dollar amounts on here. I know a lot of people vlog about that. It kind of makes me feel weird. I have really great insurance, guys. I do. And a lot of times I feel bad. I feel bad because I want to give my insurance to all of you guys who have to save every penny to be able to even try what I'm trying. Not to say that I'm covered at 100%. I'm not. There's a lot of things that I have to pay for. But the one thing that was definitely not covered at all, or so I thought, was the IVs for the natural killer cell, the Intralipids. I was told by my clinic that they had yet to run into someone with an insurance that would cover it. Well, I saw a vlog on here, I think it was one of Lisa's vlogs, and she kind of mentioned quickly what it cost her every time she had to have one of those infusions. Now, I knew mine would be different because I have to have a higher dose. It's a higher percentage that's in the actual IV bag, but I didn't figure it'd be that much different. Well, the prices they were giving me were way different. It was between the IV and the actual administration and the monitoring, it was at a cost like $850 every time they had to do this. And based on everything that I'm seeing on these vlogs out here with people with natural killer cell, I could potentially need it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Who knows? It's going to depend on my body. And my levels are kind of high. I don't know if that is going to affect how many times I'm going to need it. Who knows? But that figure was really scaring me because 850 times whatever, that's going to add up quick. So I needed to figure out if I needed to switch money around, if I needed to take out a loan, if I needed to borrow money, what I needed to do. So the amazing part is my coordinating nurse. She's the one who told me that they had yet to see anybody get this covered. And I told her, I said, you know, I think I know of a couple of people that must have had some kind of coverage because their dollar amounts aren't anywhere near what you guys are telling me. Let me at least try. My insurance has been amazing through this entire process. Yes, I've had to pay for stuff, but I really have been incredibly blessed through this entire process. So I figured, hey, why not? Let me see in advance what they will cover and what they won't cover instead of just getting it through the clinic and having to pay the $850 in advance every time I walked in there. So she wrote me up a script. She wrote me up a script like you would take to your corner drugstore. And of course, I'm thinking, all right, this probably isn't going to work, but I'm going to try anyways because what's the worst they can tell me? No. So then I'll order it the normal way. That's fine. So I took that script and I went to Walgreens, which I believe Walgreens is nationwide. So anybody in the U.S. is going to know what that is. And I didn't go to my normal Walgreens because my normal Walgreens is like packed. I don't care what time of the day, night, week, weekend, doesn't matter. It's always packed. I went to one that was closer to my work, which doesn't have quite the flow of people as the one that's near my house. And I talked to the pharmacist. I told her the whole situation. I said, you know what? I'm not sure I even want to fill this yet. Can you just find out if you can get it and how much would it be? Well, she takes the script, and a couple days later, I get a call, and they say, "Come on in and get it." And I said, "Oh my God, you ordered it already? I don't need it for a number of weeks." They said, "You know what? It doesn't matter. Just keep it stored under 77 degrees. Keep it away from crazy temperatures. It doesn't need to be refrigerated because you don't want it to get too cold. You don't want it to freeze, and it'll be fine." And then they tell me, they say, "We're just going to give you one." We had to order a case of it to be able to get it in stock, but your script is only for one, so we're going to give you one, but we're going to attempt to keep the rest of this case on hand since you said you may need more in the future. So at this point, I was preparing myself for some obscene number because they had yet to tell me what it was going to cost and if my insurance had covered it. It had taken them a couple of days to get a hold of it because they had to special order it, which didn't surprise me. But then they tell me, "Yeah, your bill's $7. $7? I was like, I'm going to be there in a few minutes. I went on my lunch at work. Actually, no, I went right after work. This was towards the end of my day. I told my husband, I said, I'm stopping there for it now before they change their mind because this is crazy. I don't know if Walgreens just didn't tell my insurance that it was being used for infertility purposes because Intralipids is used for other things. I don't know if that's what got me that price. I don't care. I'm not going to question it. For all I know, the next time I need one, they're going to say, sorry, Charlie, you got to pay the full price. That's fine, whatever. They just saved me $500. I'm still going to have to pay for the administration and the monitoring, which sounds like it's going to come out to somewhere around $200 or $300. Again, that's an entirely different figure than a lot of other people I'm seeing on here. I don't know why, but you know what? I'm not going to argue with it because look at what I saved on the IV bag. And the crazy part with the IV bag is they wrote on there that it needed to be 100 milliliters. And that whatever it is that's in there, the mixture, which is like soy and egg yolk and glycerin and water, I believe that's everything that's in there. It needed to be 20%. The bag needs to say 20% on it. Most of the Intralipid bags that people have say 10%. 20% is what makes it the double dose. So I don't actually have to have 2 bags. It's just 1 bag with a higher percentage. So I get this thing. I've got to blow me. I probably should have opened this up so I don't make too much noise on camera. I get this thing. There's 20% right there. And look at that. It's 500 milliliters. So not only did they get me this thing at the right dosage, they got me more than I needed. So I don't know if they're just going to use part of this bag or if they can use it 5 times. I don't know. I guess I'm going to find out. I asked the pharmacist didn't even know. I need to call my nurse and let her know the amount in this bag and what the deal is with that. But really the way I figure, if they only use it once because of whatever reason, let's say they can't reuse it because it started, you know, infection reasons, whatever. And I have to get another one. Hey, if I can keep getting them for the $7, I'm not going to argue. That's fine. Walgreens already told me that they've got a case which I believe has 7 or 8 more in it. It was some odd number. It wasn't an even number. I was just amazed. I'm still amazed. I was like thanking my lucky stars and thanking God and thanking angels and thanking anybody and anything that I could because I was just completely in shock that the bag was $7 and it's more than what I need. So, we'll see. We will see how this goes, but the bottom line is I have all of the medicines. This particular IV will be used on the day of transfer. So I'm keeping it in a cool, dry place. It's in a box away from lights, and my house never gets above 72 degrees, so it really doesn't matter where I keep it in my house. And right now it's like, I don't know, 69, 70 degrees in my house. So you have to keep it below 77. So I don't see that being a problem. I'm almost tempted to wait a week and see if I can get another one. And just keep it in my own stock. I don't know. That's it. That's it. This video is getting long. Sorry guys, I am rambling as usual, but just wanted to keep you up to date on everything that's going on. We are getting close to the point of all the injections and the monitoring of my lining and all of that fun stuff. So we're still looking at a beginning of October transfer. Team 3 people, 3 are still going in. 3 are still going in, and we're hoping one of them is our take-home baby. Or 2, or 3, whatever. You know what? We don't care. We don't care how many. We're putting all 3 in and praying to God that something works. Something works. That's the idea. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.